Hi everyone, here's my presentation on age-appropriate expectations. Alright, so these rules apply to outdoors and indoors. Using walking feet in the classroom, during circle time, story time, to stay seated and respect others' personal space. Keeping toys on the table and putting them away when finished, which refers to the table toys outside as well as the bins of toys inside. Sharing and asking before taking toys away from other children. To stay seated when drinking water, not to run around or get into the sink and play in the water. Not to climb or hang off the climber, which ours looks very similar to this one. Follow the arrows and path when riding the bikes. This prevents collision and keeps it safe and effective. And to stand quietly in line when we come inside or go outside, so the teachers can have an accurate head count and make sure that everyone is present. The age group varies. I typically work with 3-year-olds, 3 and 4-year-olds, but with transitioning to evenings before closing, they tend to transfer students between ages 2 to 6 in one room to cut down teachers and to close off classrooms. During the day, the class count is typically between 10 to 15, but the pre-kindergarten room can go as much as 18 to 20 students. So in that room, there's always 2 teachers, but generally 1 teacher per classroom. I'm going based off of the routine expectations for the activities that I'm present for during the day. I typically come in around this time to close dismissal time. Typically, they start off with circle and story time. All children come to the carpet around the fire pictured on the rug. They are to remain seated, and they are encouraged to bring their own book for the teacher to read, but to take turns and listen to the story. They are encouraged to actively participate by raising their hand to ask a question or adding any thoughts that they have about the story. Each child takes turns when doing this, and they listen to whoever is speaking without interrupting. Then it goes to nap time, which all children are to lay on their cot and remain quiet, which provides a respectful, quiet environment for other children, and to cuddle with stuffies, not to be playing or throwing them. Play and routine expectations continued. One of the quotes from an article from this session I found very useful was, "You guide behavior by establishing predictable routines, setting clear rules with children, and modeling kindness and respect." Transitioning to outdoors, children are expected to use the restroom and wash their hands, get their jacket if weather is permitted, and to get in line staying quiet with listening ears on and walking feet, staying in their personal space. They're to listen to their name be called and say here if present. Obviously, the 2-year-olds, you just do a head count and you can see who's their name to face count. And to walk out the door waiting for the teacher and not running out. While playing outside and play, they are to keep the toys off the grass area and near the climbing area. So like the toys and blocks outside have to stay on the tables. Riding the bikes, following the arrows on the cement, not in the grass. Not playing with sticks or digging in the dirt. And to respect others' personal space and to avoid getting physical or screaming in another child's face, which those things have been a big issue lately, especially with the pre-kindergarten kids. Alright, so clear classroom rules that are followed consistently contribute to a well-organized learning environment. which I got from the video Classroom Rules. Transitioning back inside, children are to clean up and put all toys away, get in a single file line and take head count, remain quiet and in a personal bubble, putting on listening ears saying, "Here were names called," which I already kind of went over that, washing the hands, and using the restroom if needed when they get inside, and staying seated, waiting for the teacher to give them their water bottle or like a cup of water. Then they may go to a table toy or center. The children know that the rules of 2 children per center table, sharing and respecting others' space and belongings, not dumping all the toys out at once and cleaning them up when finished, walking feet, keeping markers on paper and scissors on the table, and if they get a little out of sorts or overwhelmed, we may do a brain break video if needed to calm children and to get them engaged in an educational and interactive video where they can dance while learning. Alright, so for dismissal, children are to stay in the classroom at all times away from their parents and not to run out of the classroom door or run after them. They are to collect their artwork and papers from folder or cubbies, but not until parent arrives. And make sure any toys gone out before being picked up or put away, and to grab their backpacks and other personal belongings, such as like water bottles, jackets, folders, etc. Alright, so here are the Head Start Learning Outcomes framework. So I chose social and emotional development with the subdomains of relationships with other children and emotional functioning. So children can engage and create positive relationships with their peers and classmates. They can do this by working with each other, developing friendships, and strengthening their social skills, such as waiting turns, sharing, and including others in activities. Children can also identify and recognize their own emotions and others' emotions, and recognize them through observation, such as TV shows, books, and play. Alright, so for domain emotional development. Okay, so a subdomain is relationships with adults. At this age, children can engage effectively with trusted adults daily. They can show their affection and interaction with adults they interact with, and they can rely on trusted adults for their needs and if they need help. Alright, so subdomain, cognitive self-regulation. Children can regulate their emotions and control their impulses, such as practicing taking turns, sharing items, waiting until their name is called, and transitioning to different activities effectively and smoothly, and strengthen their ability to wait patiently. Okay. Improvements for age appropriateness. Teachers can form better connections with children, implementing specific actions to modify their communication styles and routine classroom behaviors. Bryce suggests that adapting lessons build on the language and communication styles children are typically used to do in their homes and communicate facilities learning in young children. So adapting and modifying our curriculum to meet these differences and changes in children is very effective, as we know it's not like a one-size-fits-all method. Not all children will adapt and learn the same way. That is not effective. Communicating the expectations, clearly demonstrating these rules visually and on paper helps young children especially. A critical step to bridging expectations is to help children learn new skills they need to succeed in the classroom. So yes, just like clearly explaining these expectations and visuals so they know what to expect and what is expected of them and what is acceptable. Appropriateness of communication can be done by providing clear and easy to follow instructions, use of visuals and examples to help children apply these expectations to real life situations, and to implement what is learned in the classroom in like their daily activities. Cultural and family values alignment is also very important. Researchers noted how some children's culture norms influence their behavior, such as in the ways that they interact physically with one another. For example, non-mainstream culture children tend to touch each other more often, such as waiting in line. Connecting and working with families and parents to learn more about children's culture norms and family culture. So